I dressed up for date night, hoping he'd finally see me. But my husband just mumbled, "Why are you so dressed up?" "We're just eating." That same week, a friend's husband looked at me and said, "Wow, you look stunning." My stomach fluttered, something I hadn't felt in years. That night, I realized the difference between feeling like a wife and feeling like a woman. I stood in front of the mirror in our bedroom in Quezon City, adjusting the deep blue dress I had bought weeks ago. It wasn't extravagant, but it hugged my curves just right and made me feel alive. I had even taken the time to curl my hair, apply a touch of makeup, and wear the heels that had been gathering dust in the closet. Tonight was supposed to be special. After months of routine and silence, I wanted to rekindle something with my husband, Marco. We'd been married for 12 years, and lately, it felt like we were just roommates sharing a space. As I walked into the living room, Marco glanced up from his phone and said, "Why are you so dressed up?" "We're just eating." My heart sank. I had hoped for a compliment, a spark, anything. Instead, I got indifference. Later that week, I attended a small gathering at my friend Liza's house in Makati. Her husband, Paolo, greeted me warmly. As I entered, he looked me up and down and said, "Wow, you look stunning tonight." I felt a flutter in my stomach, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. It wasn't about Paolo, it was about being seen, appreciated. That night, as I lay in bed next to Marco, who was already snoring softly, I realized the difference between feeling like a wife and feeling like a woman. Our conversations had become transactional. "Did you pay the bills? What's for dinner? Did you pick up the laundry?" There was no intimacy, no laughter, no connection. I tried initiating conversations, planning date nights, even suggesting counseling. Marco always had an excuse. "I'm tired. Work's been stressful. Maybe next week." I felt invisible. One evening, Marco left his laptop open on the dining table. As I cleared the dishes, a message popped up on the screen. "Can't wait to see you again. Last night was amazing." My hands trembled. I clicked on the message thread. There were photos, messages, and plans. He was having an affair. I confronted him. He didn't deny it. "It's not what you think," he said. "Then what is it?" I demanded. "I don't know. I needed something different." I packed a bag and left. I moved in with my sister in Tagwig. The first few weeks were a blur of tears, anger, and confusion. But slowly, I began to rediscover myself. I took up painting, something I hadn't done since college. I joined a yoga class. I started journaling. One day, I looked in the mirror and saw a woman who was healing, growing, and finding her worth. Marco reached out a few months later, asking to meet. We sat in a cafe in Bonifacio Global City. "I'm sorry," he said. "I messed up." "I know," I replied. "Can we try again?" I shook my head. "I can't go back to feeling invisible." He nodded, tears in his eyes. We parted ways. I moved into a small apartment in Pasig. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I filled it with plants, art, and light. I started volunteering at a local shelter, helping women who had experienced similar situations. One evening, as I walked home, a man approached me. "Excuse me," he said. "I couldn't help but notice your smile. It's radiant." I thanked him, and we chatted briefly. As I continued walking, I felt that flutter again. I was seen. I was alive. I was a woman rediscovering herself. About 6 months after I had finally started feeling like myself again, something unexpected happened. It was a regular Tuesday evening. I had just finished cooking adobo in my small kitchen. My phone buzzed, an unknown number. I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. A message this time. "Hey. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but can we talk? It's about Marco." I froze. the name attached to the message? It was her. The woman he had cheated with. I had never reached out to her. I didn't even know her name until now, Celine. I stared at the message. My heart pounded. Why was she contacting me now? Curiosity got the better of me. I agreed to meet her in a quiet cafe in Marikina, during a time I knew it wouldn't be crowded. I didn't know what to expect. She looked nervous. Younger than me, maybe in her late 20s. Pretty, in a soft kind of way. She stood up when I arrived. "Thank you for coming," she said, not making eye contact. I nodded but didn't say anything. Then she dropped a bomb. I didn't know Marco was married when we started seeing each other. He told me he was divorced. I blinked. He what? She nodded quickly. I found out months in. By then, I was already in love with him. I felt a cold wave pass over me. Why are you telling me this now? Because he left me, too, she whispered. And now I think I'm pregnant. I didn't know what to feel. Anger? Shock? Pity? All I knew was, I needed to see Marco. I hadn't spoken to him since the cafe in Bonifacio. I had changed my number. But Celine gave me his new number. Against my better judgment, I called. He picked up. I told him I knew. He sighed. She's lying. Really? I said. You lied to her about being divorced. Just like you lied to me for years. Silence. I'm not doing this for you, I added. If that child is yours, I will make sure you take responsibility. I may not be your wife anymore, but I'll make sure you act like a man. He hung up on me. A few days later, I started getting handwritten letters in my mailbox. No return address. But I knew the handwriting. Marco. Each letter talked about our marriage. Our first apartment in Cubao. The old broken rice cooker we refused to throw out. The way I used to hum while watering plants. How I always folded his shirts a certain way. I didn't know how good I had it, one letter read. Until I had nothing. I threw them in a drawer. I couldn't throw them away. Not yet. Then came the unexpected visit. It was raining hard. I heard a knock at my door. I opened it and saw Marco, soaked, tired, holding something. It was a sonogram. She's not lying, he said. It's mine. I stared at the picture. Black and white. Blurry. But clear enough to change everything. She doesn't want me involved, he said. She doesn't trust me. I don't blame her. But I'm scared. I've messed up everything. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want him back. But now he was going to be a father. And suddenly, I was part of a story I thought I had walked away from. After Marco's visit, I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about the sonogram and the letters. But something kept nagging at me, why now? Why reach out to me and not someone else? The next day, I decided to check on Celine myself. I called her and asked to meet again, this time at a quiet cafe in Ortigas. She seemed surprised but agreed. When we sat down, I asked her directly, "Are you really pregnant?" She blinked fast. Yes. I mean, I was. I had a miscarriage 2 weeks ago. What? I stared at her. But you showed me a sonogram. I still had the picture. I didn't know how else to get your attention. I felt like I had been punched in the chest. So you lied? I needed you to talk to me, she whispered. I was scared. He ghosted me. I didn't know what else to do. I thought if anyone knew what I felt, it would be you. I stood up, ready to walk away, but something made me stop. She looked broken. Not faking. Just broken in a different way than I was. I sat back down. Later that week, I got a message from someone else. An old college friend of Marco's who had found me on Facebook. He sent me screenshots, conversations between him and Marco from years ago. Apparently, Marco had a pattern. Multiple women, same lies. He told each one he was separated, always emotionally distant, always making them feel special, until they weren't. One woman even had a child, now 6 years old. She never told anyone. She just raised the child alone, working as a waitress in Laguna. I asked if I could talk to her. He gave me her number. She answered after 2 rings. She was calm. Polite. I don't want anything from him, she said. I made peace a long time ago. But if he's still out there doing this to other women, maybe it's time he stopped getting away with it. A week later, I saw Marco again. I agreed to meet at a mall in Green Hills, in public, because I didn't trust being alone with him anymore. He looked tired. Not just physically, but like the weight of his choices had finally landed on him. I saw Celine again, I said. She lied to me. But I think she did it because she's hurt. Just like I was. He nodded slowly. And I spoke to Alia. His face froze. What? Alia. Laguna. Your son is 6 years old now, Marco. I talked to her. He put his head in his hands. She never told me. Because she knew what kind of man you were. He didn't deny it. I didn't want to get dragged back into Marco's mess. But I couldn't walk away knowing there were more women, maybe more children. So I gave him a choice. You need to come clean. All of it. Apologize to them. Support your child. Or I'll do it for you. He looked at me, and for once, he didn't argue. I'll do it, he said. But I don't know how. You start by telling the truth. Something you've avoided your whole life. 2 weeks later, I got another message from Celine. She wanted to meet. I was hesitant, but I went. She looked different. Stronger. A little steadier. I lied about the pregnancy, yes, she said. But I didn't lie about something else. What? She took out her phone and showed me a picture. It was her and Marco. But not from a few months ago. This one was from years ago, before he and I got married. You weren't the first wife, she said. You were the second. I stared at the picture. What are you talking about? He was married before you. In Davao. To my cousin. The cafe in Ortega's was silent for a second after Celine dropped that bomb. What do you mean he was married before me? She leaned in. My cousin, Nadine. They got married in Davao when she was 20. I don't know how long it lasted. He just disappeared one day. She filed for annulment after 3 years of hearing nothing. I felt my throat dry up. 12 years of marriage. And I wasn't even his first wife? That night, I dug through old papers and scanned records. And there it was, a brief marriage certificate in Davao, dated 2 years before Marco and I met. He had lied. About everything. I contacted Nadine. She was hesitant but agreed to meet. I told her what happened, and her eyes filled with tears. He does this, she said quietly. He builds a story around whoever he wants to be, and he becomes that person. Until it gets boring. Or hard. I asked if she would talk to Celine and the others. She nodded. So I arranged a meeting. In a small private function room at a restaurant in Quezon City. Just the 4 of us, me, Celine, Nadine, and Marco. He didn't know Nadine would be there. He walked in and stopped cold. What is this? He asked, his eyes darting between the 3 of us. Sit down, I said, my voice flat. He hesitated, then sat. Nadine spoke first. You ruined my 20s. I wasted years waiting for you to come back. Celine jumped in. You told me you were divorced. That you were still healing. You lied to me with every word. I looked at him. You lied to all of us. You made me think I was your partner, your only one. His hands trembled. I didn't know how to fix it once it started. I didn't plan to hurt anyone. No, I said. You just didn't care who got hurt, as long as you got what you wanted. He looked like he wanted to cry, but none of us flinched. You have a son, I reminded him. And probably more women out there who think they're the only one. Why now? He whispered. Why are you all doing this now? Because we found each other, Nadine said. And we're done letting you leave pieces of us behind. Marco stood up. I'm sorry, he said. For everything. But no one answered. He looked at each of us, waiting. Hoping. But we sat silent. Then he walked out. He didn't storm off. He didn't slam a door. He just left. And I knew he wouldn't come back. After he was gone, Nadine cried. Celine looked relieved. I just sat there, numb. Over the next weeks, messages poured in from other women. Apparently, one of us posted online anonymously, warning others. That led to a few more women reaching out. Stories too familiar to ignore, gifts, empty promises, vanishing acts. Marco had been doing this for over 15 years. One woman had even started saving money thinking they were building a life together. She nearly lost everything. Each story chipped away at the version of him I used to defend. I felt sick for not seeing it earlier. But also, I felt strangely free. Because it wasn't just me. He was the broken one. A year later, I attended Celine's baby shower. Yes, she did end up pregnant, just not with Marco's child. She met someone else. A good man. Nadine remarried. She's running a bakery now. Me? I stayed single. I focused on rebuilding. I traveled to Palawan alone. I finally published a collection of short stories I had written during the worst months. Sometimes I still think of Marco. I wonder if he ever really loved any of us. But love without truth isn't love. It's control. It's selfishness. It's emptiness dressed up like care. I used to think being a good wife meant being patient, forgiving, understanding. But now I know. Being a good woman means knowing your worth, protecting your peace, and never mistaking crumbs for a meal. I don't hate Marco. But I don't forgive him either. He made his choices. I made mine. And I chose to live. For me.